every goddamn week.
Welcome to Every Goddamn Week.
Oh, here I am again.
Yeah, Fuji's back. It's been a while since I've done an episode, and I'm pretty nervous. My nipples are excited, tingly. But we're talking about Star Wars, which is something that we're both interested in.
You know, I almost turned around on the way here because
you didn't want to? You didn't want to go here again? That's kind of the thing about doing this episode, this Star Wars movie, is that it's the end of a trilogy of trilogies. And you kind of, everyone, I don't know about you, but I feel like I was already done with this today. You hadn't even seen it. You didn't bother. You were done with Star Wars. And like, I feel like I'm already
Dude, I checked out a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, before episode 7, I was pretty much on the cusp.
Yeah.
And then episode 7 rolls around, and I'm thinking, after all those Plinkett reviews, thoroughly destroying Star Wars.
Well, that's the thing, is that like you and I and all of our friends who are Star Wars fans and a lot of people, like, yeah, we're kind of like done with these movies, and we hate the prequels. Kids. Well, all that shit, but we keep talking about it. I remember you and I did like a really long run a couple of years ago, and like, I don't know, as soon as we got like our breath back, like we were just immediately like, so why did Anakin do this in episode 1? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So like, then the fun doesn't stop though. I feel like we gotta like keep talking about this shit because it's fun.
Dude, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
I know. And to be clear, like, we love the original movies. 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
But the prequels are ridiculous, and the new ones are kind of soulless. That's right.
Oh man, the thing is the newer trilogy, the New West trilogy, made me fall back in love with the George Lucas prequel trilogy.
It's true. I know.
I found myself just wanting to see Jar Jar Binks just come up clumsily onto the camera and be like, "Oh, hey, Misa, think this plot."
I don't know if I'll get that far.
Doesn't make sense.
I find your impression of Jar Jar Binks funnier than the actual Jar Jar Binks. So let's not fuck around too long, because the thing is, this movie is like tight as fuck. It's it was edited like very finely into little
overwhelming
choppy bits.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. It was better than some movies I've seen recently, which brings me to the segment that I do every episode.
What's that?
Well, it's called Spoiler-Free Mini Reviews. I'm just trying to think of how deeply I want to get into mine. I'm talking about this week, on Every Goddamn Week. I'm talking about Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2, because it was Halloween recently. We're filming and recording this in November now. And I watched these movies with my girlfriend, who's nearby at the time of this recording, and she thought that this would be fun and nostalgic, but I'd never seen these movies, and
Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2?
Yeah. I think I'd seen them. I have vague memories of them from childhood, but I watched them and they were really bad, and don't watch them.
Okay.
That's all. I just wanted to complain briefly about Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2.
Okay. Well, can I provide for you a spoiler-free mini review?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to, actually.
Oh. Well, I'm glad I have one.
Good.
Gremlins.
You better say nice things about Gremlins.
This was the first time I'd ever seen Gremlins. And you know what? I laughed my ass off.
The first one.
Yeah, the first Gremlins.
Yeah.
I mean...
it's good shit.
Oh, man. And it was... I just poking fun at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just some of the ridiculous images that you see on it. And you think, oh, like, those are some 80s prosthetics.
Yeah.
And also, what? This is a movie for kids?
I watched it as a kid. So
it's pretty dark.
It kind of is.
It's pretty dark.
Like,
But
I guess we can't spoil anything. That's the whole point of spoiler-free mini reviews.
But it's the epitome of childhood tragedy. Tragedy. That's what I'll say.
Well, there's the horror element right there, but it's also a Christmas movie, and it's I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there. So you would recommend it?
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Watched it actually at a Thanksgiving dinner. It was almost in anticipation for Christmas.
Awesome.
So it was a great time. Everybody watching it enjoyed it, laughed their heinies off.
Good.
It was a very
poor heinies.
Fun family adventure with
nice.
Gremlins. Yeah.
By the way, to tie it back into what the hell we're talking about this goddamn week, I always watch Star Wars, the original trilogy, around the Christmas season. That's like a tradition for me. I don't know.
That's a good tradition.
I think it's pretty common. Like, I hear about it a lot. So I don't know. I guess because you're cold and you want to be inside and watching movies. So like you want to watch the best of the best.
Yeah.
Cream of the crop. Now, let's get to the tail end of one of the lesser parts of that.
Okay.
That whole body of work. I gotta say, like, before we take a shit on this movie, which we're not exactly doing, but we kind of we're gonna a little bit.
There are some things that are good about this.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but also
that's really good.
it's just part of a bigger thing that like I appreciate. I appreciate that there's like 9 fucking movies and then a bunch of little other ones, but whatever. But it's I appreciate it for what it is, this big thing. It's kind of like, I don't love Doctor Who that much, but I think some of it's really dope, and it's cool that it's gone on so long and kind of maintained its vibe the whole time.
Kind of like James Bond.
Yeah.
Or
Rest
Star
in peace.
Trek.
Yep. Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, Star Trek, just keeps on going. But ups and downs, and so here we got, I don't know where I'd place this one. It's better than The Last Jedi. Definitely
better than The Last Jedi.
Yes. So, there you go. We've said some good things about it. Now let's get into it.
A New Hope 2. What's that one? 7 called?
Yeah, this has a lot of callbacks to like other movies, eh?
What's this episode 7 called?
I wrote Revenge of Skywalker. That's not what it's called. The Rise of Skywalker.
No. It was Last Jedi was episode 8.
That was 8, yeah.
And episode 7 was what?
Oh, 7. The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, what a super fan I have on the show today. But that just shows sort of the malaise.
Dude, if you had known who I was, grade 4, 5, 6, and 7.
You memorized episode 1.
Oh, man. I remember it. Grade 4 at the end of the school year. It's June. And I had gotten a B in art class. And I had talked to the teacher about how could I give more in art class. And then eventually I get an A in the last part. I get straight A's. My sister gets straight A's. And my parents, we weren't super well off at the time, but they're like, for your reward at the end of the year and end of the school year, getting good grades, both of you, we're going to watch Star Wars Episode 1 in the theater. And we're like, woo! And you know what? I had some money saved up from when I was, birthday money over the years. And I spent so much of it going to theater and watching Star Wars Episode 1. And my parents...
There you go. That's a good preface to this.
This is part of the reason, I think, why towards middle school they were a lot more lax with my personal freedoms. Because they were like, oh, if I got to accompany this kid everywhere, I'm going to have to go see Star Wars in the theater 19 times.
It's an easy way to let go of your child, of your dependent Fuji.
Yeah.
I don't know if I introduced you, by the way. This is Fuji Mooney. I'm Chris LaRose. This is Every Goddamn Week. Let's get into Revenge of Skywalker, man.
Okay. So I love Star Wars.
You love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I got the Star Wars trilogy over there on the bookshelf. I got that for my first communion. That was a gift that I got from my nana. There you go.
Awesome.
So I have a religious tie-in too. especially with Christmas and everything. You
Yeah.
know. So do I worship Star Wars? Not exactly, but
No,
like
but there's a lot of good stuff in there.
there's some spiritual stuff. Not in this one though. Let's get down to it, man. We
Okay,
have
man,
to.
And
Let's get
just
into the
before we
plot.
get into that,
Fine.
so pumped to be here on the show again.
Yeah, dude.
Man,
Glad to have you.
Had
Glad
a
to be
lot of
starting
fun.
this again.
And we're here in this room. We're on camera drinking
A Moscow
a
Mule.
Moscow Mule. I've got green tea and a little bit of Budweiser in this
I went for
stylish
later.
mug.
Yep.
Man, great to be here, dude.
Oh yeah,
Cheers.
cheers. Okay, and with this, we officially dive into the plot. Let's get into it, man, because this thing's
Okay.
dense.
Star Wars 9: Rise of Skywalker.
So the crawl, we get a nice crawl.
So there's some vision of Palpatine, and
Yes.
Palpatine's back. And so in the last
Can't
episode,
keep them down.
what's his name? Snoke
Yes.
gets
right.
executed.
By Kylo Ren,
By-
who
by
decides to
Kylo
be good,
Ren.
or is he?
Or is he just trying to get powerful? Or maybe does he make an impulsive choice and doesn't know what to make of it after?
That is the constant question that's being answered and then questioned again throughout this.
They just can't figure it out.
No one knows. So the crawl is kind of a mess, but the dead speak was an important thing, and it really turned out that kept coming back. There was a lot of like people hearing voices from living people, and then through dead people.
Yeah.
And then we find out Rey is like the Avatar from Avatar: The Last Airbender. She's connected to all the Jedi before her, which is weird
There was a
twist.
lot of that-
lot of weird Force stuff.
A lot of that connected to the lives of the past thing. Palpatine had a lot of that going on. And
Right.
the Emperor, I mean, Palpatine, I am all the Sith sort of a thing.
Yeah, there's like family, but then there's like spiritual succession, you know,
Yeah.
and like what's more powerful is the question, I guess.
I'm also reminded of the biblical reference.
A lot of that.
We are Legion. I am all the Sith.
Fuji's gonna cast out some demons today.
Oh, maybe we'll see.
We'll see. It's in
Maybe
you
I'll,
for
I'll
sure.
cast out the demon of Star Wars Episode 9: Rise of Skywalker because,
That's what
look.
we're here to do.
okay, overall, this movie, I gotta say, entertaining.
Yeah.
Would I watch it again? Probably one or two more times max.
It's my second time, and it was fun. Can't say that about Halloween Town. I don't know why I have such a bone to pick with these movies.
And I don't know if I would watch Gremlins another time.
You
But it's-
will, and you'll watch the sequel too.
Okay,
Yeah, you will.
maybe we can watch it together.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
Red Planet. Here, this is a theme with this movie. You have no idea where anybody is a lot of the time, or you have some idea, but it's not super clear. Like I know what the fuck Alderaan looks like, and I know what to feel when it blows up.
Well, you spend
In
about
this,
20, 25 minutes of movie time
Hmm.
talking about it. Alderaan, we got to get to Alderaan. Alderaan. Oh, hey, we are going to destroy the planet of Alderaan.
Yeah.
And you think, oh no. And you see this beautiful blue
Yeah.
orb floating across the screen.
Explodes. And then Han Solo being like, "It's not there. Don't know why." Well, weird. Oh, he's got no context.
Yeah.
But here, we have no context. You have Red Planet. That's
So
all we know.
we start out, and Kylo Ren is just killing people.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
Yeah.
A
And
lot.
the tricky thing for me was after the last movie, I'm kind of thinking, is he good? Is he bad? Is he kind of in the middle? And here, he's just, there's a lot of fighting going on. They're killing some masked creatures. And
Right. There's a lot of groups.
Is he just slaughtering civilians? Or is he fighting in a righteous war? I can't actually tell
just
based
set
on...
pieces.
Yeah,
Set pieces
so he's
with
just
very
killing people.
fine
They
lines
go
going.
and they find a little triangle thing.
Yeah, so this is the MacGuffin of the film. This triangle that what is that? A tetrahedron? Where it's like because it'd be four sides, right?
Not a perfect tetrahedron, but a tetrahedron, I think.
But a tetrahedron
Nonetheless.
Our name is tetrahedron. We have 4 sides. That's from the Bible, everybody. So that's being referenced here. So they have to go. Kylo Ren has the tetrahedron for a while, and it's sort of like the flux capacitor in his little ship.
I think there are 2 in the movie.
Are there? I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's just shown a bunch of times. I don't know. I really tried to follow this time, and I had a tough time.
It was hard. Okay, so he takes the small triangle
Yes.
into the big triangle building.
That's right.
And then he
flickery,
finds
gloomy.
Palpatine. So I guess in the crawl there was the vision of Palpatine, Kylo Ren being the most evil guy in the galaxy that we know of.
But here's Palpatine, and he's telling us the whole story, basically.
Oh man, and
I made
admittedly,
Snoke.
this was I made Snoke. I am every voice you have ever heard, and that was really cool. They did this cool thing where they switched to the different voices of the different evil characters in Star Wars. Super cool, and it gave me the shivers, man.
I liked getting some of those feelings.
So
I know what you mean.
And I said that alone redeemed the movie for me.
Cool.
Doesn't make the rest of the movie,
Spectacular.
tolerable or a good story, but hey, man, it took me with that one scene.
Nice. Well, there's a few of those.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a shame, though, just the way it's edited, because there will be a scene that's like building up tension and atmosphere, and I'm like, this is really cool. And then it'll cut to something else to remind us what's going on over there, and I'm like, you don't have to do that.
And overall, I would say the individual scenes were great, but when you take them as a whole, it wasn't coherent.
Sure.
One of the things, the big missed opportunities, I think, was Kylo Ren. The first scene you see him, and he's just slaughtering people. This guy is so badass.
Yeah.
And then you'd see him in other scenes where he's communicating with somebody who is light years away, and he's like snatching something off her neck, and pulling it into his dimension through the Force. And then he's in a meeting with a bunch of like bureaucrats and officers, and they're like making fun of him to his face.
Right, to do a callback to A New Hope, but it doesn't work here because he's like, no, I'm insanely powerful. I'm like same with Rey, where they're these crazy powerful superhumans.
Yeah. They were just overpowered for the story.
Well, because they didn't know how to write that, so they wrote scenes like the one you're talking about.
Yeah. Which was
where they're treating them, Kylo Ren like he's Darth Vader, when in other scenes he's just shredding everybody. It's like, I don't know, it's a little strange.
More powerful than Yoda and the original.
Because he wants
Palpatine.
to be like the Emperor, and these generals are mouthing off to him. It's not like Grand Moff Tarkin is there to be in charge of him. He's like, in the context here, he's the king shit of fuck mountain, and these guys should not be mouthing off to him. It doesn't. Yeah, you're right. Doesn't make sense.
It even murders somebody in that scene.
That's true. There's a lot of that. Just like Empire guys killing each other.
Okay, so
Chewie. Chewie is on the Falcon.
So there's
You're
a
sad.
Millennium Falcon scene. There, Poe and is Finn on there? I don't know.
They're all, the gang is all there. I think
they're running away from something. TIE fighters are involved.
Yeah,
And
pew pew.
Overall, my criticism was the action is too cheap.
Yeah, that was a consistent
The thing is, prosthetics aren't on their own inherently better.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they're costly, like they take a lot of not just money but effort and time to get them right, especially in a sci-fi context.
There's sweat involved.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they used it sparingly, but it was hard, so they used it as a bridge. Here, I mean, it was like every other scene. Like somebody's dying. There's some explosion. There's a big ship flying around.
Some weird journey. A lot of those where it's like, oh, it's so hard to get from here to there because the terrain is, there's a lot of water, or there's asteroids, or there's whatever.
And there wasn't a lot of need for that in the story.
It felt video gamey because I'm like, this would be fun if I get it as like a self-insert thing where I'm like, I'm pretending I'm these guys going through these situations, but I'm like, I just want to play this game. I think what came to mind was the episode 1 like PS1 game.
Made me want to play it again. It was a great. It was a
fun.
great game. Yeah.
Remember like bouncing, like blaster.
Oh, that was great. You got to time it just right.
Off your lightsaber. It was so fun. You couldn't kill Jar Jar Binks, unfortunately. I remember that. Anyway, so
everybody on the Millennium Falcon is fine.
Yep.
Rey is training, and Leia's there, and for some reason Leia is, after being blown out into space and
there's a bunch of little things like Finn gets. This seems to be important. He gets. There's a line of clues that they even call clues throughout the movie. Like, so here you get Finn gets some data about a spy, and it's on a little disc from who knows, some creature guy, and he puts it in R2-D2 just the way Leia does in A New Hope.
Oh, and he just manipulates R2-D2 like he's some common machine.
I mean, he is like a
nobody in 9 episodes has ever touched R2-D2 like that.
You were bothered by the way he was touching.
I was bothered by how he touched R2-D2. It did not seem consensual.
I like Finn. I hope he was touching him in a way that was appropriate, vis-a-vis. That foam sound is pretty cool.
Not the clunk sound.
The Moscow. No, clunking is annoying. The listeners hate that.
So Rey is on some obstacle course, and she's still amazing at everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets a vision.
Yeah, so I was... Right, she has the vision of, like, pure evil coming after her, and, like, it's just so, like, I get it, and on a symbolic sort of visual storytelling level, I get it. As always with Rey, it's just very, like, boop, boop, ba-doop, doop. Here are the visuals.
Yeah.
Episode 7, she sees an old woman who's kind of still in where she is at. And she's like, I don't want to be that old woman. Got it. No one has to say anything. It's all visual. Cool. But then here it's like, sorry, what's the premise that they're showing me visually? It's like she's training in the jungle so that she can defeat pure evil elsewhere. Mm-hmm. While a little ball droid follows her around. It's just not there.
Clear Dagobah, Luke Yoda reference.
Oh, and Leia's there. Just a lot of training. I don't know.
She gets this vision where Kylo is also experiencing the same thing. Join me. You hear Darth Vader's
They're constantly
voice.
Shining at each other, those two.
Yeah.
So
and also
clear their romance is heavier than her romance with the other guys at this point. I think.
And the Emperor is still saying, join me, all the same, pulling them through this.
The whole time. That just keeps happening. So there's some arguing among the team. There's lots of, like, just little nonsense scenes of the gang not getting along or having quibbles over whatever. And it's just kind of like, who cares? Mm-hmm. So, anyway, and that's fine. That's Star Wars-y enough, I guess.
So Rey thinks that she needs to leave. So she departs in the middle of a training exercise.
Right. This is right after Poe explains everything. He does that whole just exposition blast in no particular place to everyone.
Rey says, I know how this must feel or how much it must look or what it must seem like. And then she's like, tell me what it is, says Leia. And Rey says, I'll tell you later. And she flies off.
Also, C-3PO tells R2-D2 that he loves him. That's in there, too.
Oh.
Way too much C-3PO. Just
too much C-3PO. He's
too
not
much
that
stuff
deep.
Where his character is, you're not supposed to identify with him that much. He's like an annoying asswipe, and he pisses everyone off. That's his character. He's that guy who's a constant bummer. there's one in every crew, I think, and that's just his role. So, but here he's sort of this guy that we're supposed to love and feel affection for, and I don't feel that.
They
never
killed
did.
so many people, and they killed C-3PO for a time.
That's right.
Whatever that means, because he's a droid, and you can do whatever you want with no consequence. Okay, so
A lot of the no consequence.
there
moments.
was a lot of shining in between Rey
and Kylo or
Kylo.
Ben. So with pacing, this thing keeps happening where the tone keeps changing. So like there's this magical adventure music as they take off in the Millennium Falcon. They're like, ba, ba, da, ba, 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 da, and like whatever, and then and off they go, and then and that's very short, that part, and then it cuts to Kylo Ren and he's brooding, and it's like,
Oh,
no,
man.
you have to build up the happy feeling before you drop like that. Editors, I get you don't want it to be 4 hours, but I don't know, gotta be on speed for this one, I guess.
It was pretty heavy at times, and then really comical, and then really infuriating.
Kylo's being a dick. There's the festival. I sort of like the festival. I didn't mind this. I was like, this
so
is like a nice
clearly,
feeling. Whatever.
look, all your conservative friends are gonna want to point to the committee diversity aspect of how Disney has approached these movies. But on a certain level, you gotta look at a shot like that and be like, oh, this is a clear reference to certain
Like tribal cultures.
kinds of cultures in
Yeah.
a certain part of the world, and even though they're aliens,
Yeah.
there seems like there's
We know where you're getting this
similarities
from,
there.
Disney.
Are you insinuating something about these aliens?
It is odd, hey? They'll just be like,
and
paying
then
tribute, but they're armadillo people. It's like,
exactly what I'm getting at. And then they include this part which was actually, I thought, pretty cool. It was a little reference to I think Indonesian wayang shadow puppet festivals, where they tell these like big long epics with like Hanuman and stuff, like the monkey god and all these other things through a screen with like these elaborate puppets. And there was a brief instant of that on the screen, and I thought that was cool
nice.
insofar as references go.
Yeah, there was a little.
Insofar
there
as-
was a foundation for the culture they were creating in their little random planet number 28 or whatever.
And if that were, I mean, do you know what planet that was?
Planet Armadillo.
How long were they on that planet? Did anything significant happen on that planet?
Yeah. The necklace. She gets the special.
She gets the
unique
necklace that Kylo Ren steals
Yes.
immediately.
But this could have happened anywhere.
And then nothing happened.
She could have been on Igloo Planet, and a penguin could have shit in her fist, and then Kylo Ren could be like, "Give me the shit, Ray," and then like taking it through space. It could have been anything.
It could have been anything. It's almost like this scene is in there for a reason other than plot development.
I really want to find something relevant where they're there for a reason. Kylo context, right? No. Lando shows up.
This is my first Moscato Mule?
Moscow
Mule.
Like Russia.
Tasty.
I was
ginger
gonna make
ale
them,
and
but I just got them from a can.
ginger ale and vodka?
Ginger beer and vodka.
Ginger beer and
Yeah,
vodka. It's tasty.
and like lime. That's the recipe I saw anyway. I don't know.
I'll make some.
I like it, and I like the whole copper cup thing. It's fun.
Okay. And here's where I wrote, because Kylo Ren snatches a necklace from Rey's neck from across the galaxy.
Pretty cool.
Why do all these Imperial First Order thugs or bureaucrats diss him to his face?
That's the thing. Why doesn't he do the Vader
That's-
thing
that's,
and choke
you
one
know,
of them? It doesn't.
Interdimensional air grab is at least like a a level 41 spell.
Well, by the formula of this particular trilogy in the trilogy of trilogies, he should be force choking like 30 guys at a time, and then being like, "Is that not a good enough demonstration?" And then 50 guys at a time, and then 100 guys, and then 500 guys, and he's just force choking all of them. And then that one officer, there's just flashing lights, and he's like, I will do anything you say, Lord Kylo Ren.
Just trembling in fear.
Exactly. That had to be in there, and it wasn't. So that's why it's nagging you, I think.
Dude, I won't even talk shit to my manager at work. You know?
Yeah, because it's like, why would you?
And like, how much power is that compared
Unless he's a
to
dick, but...
the first order hierarchy? And meanwhile, all these like Star Destroyer officers are all just like, "Yo, Kylo, you suck."
Yeah, they have a spy who's like not subtle at all.
Yeah.
In among the First Order, yeah, they get away with a lot. I just want to check the video real quick, and then we can get back to this.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay, it's still going. Just want to turn this thing around so I can see. There we go.
How's it going so far, dude?
Good, everything's going smooth. I just want to like wave my hands in front of stuff.
Cool.
There, that way I'll remember.
Dude, this is so much fun.
Dude, it's the most fun. It is podcast land on a whole new level of immersion. Right about.
Dude, and having it here, we gotta set up my home studio like this somehow.
Yeah, add a little more character to the jam space.
Yeah. We're bringing my girl over so she can assess the vibe.
She's a vibe assessor?
Yeah.
You need one of those.
Okay.
Where are they? I wrote. What is that in reference to?
Yeah, Lando, where are they? So they make contact with Lando Calrissian.
Yes. He's
Do
very
I
old.
remember what planet they're on?
Yes?
No.
Oh.
Do I know what circumstance they met each other in?
Lando had a thing on his head, and he took it off, and he was Lando.
I don't remember that.
Okay. It wasn't
There was a lot
that
of
great.
stuff that happened in this movie that I...
Key moments that just aren't there. The first time I watched Return of the Jedi, for example, I knew everything that happened in that movie solid in my head after I watched it, after one go. And I still have the childish openness that I did then. Wasn't experiencing the same thing after this. Because I'm just like, oh yeah, Lando was in it. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see.
Something cynical about this whole movie. Where it just kind of, I just see it as like,
Yeah.
oh, and they just folded in
This was the point.
star from the
This
old
was
one.
the point where I wrote, if this had nothing to do with Star Wars, it'd be great.
Yeah, that's right. I know, just a
It's
fun
like the
sci-fi
movie
thing
spends
that was creative.
too much resources on making it a Star Wars movie. I mean, if it was just some animated sci-fi like Miyazaki story, it would have been great.
Sure.
You know,
Or-
just a standalone something.
Just anything. If Simon Pegg and Nick Frost had thrown something together like, oh, we made a sci-fi movie, we did. We are gonna like it. Right. We made it. Open your glasses and watch this. A bit of the old ultraviolence.
I'd watch those ultraviolets.
Space ultraviolence. C-3PO, what? Cannot translate the clue knife, the magical knife that has...
That's right, because it's in too evil a language.
So to be clear, it's the spooky knife that has the power to lead them to Emperor Palpatine. They just need to collect all the magical items and they will defeat the final boss, is the idea.
Meanwhile, Rey just needs to say yes to Kylo, and then they'll find him together.
That's right.
But she doesn't do that.
I wish there was a scene where he, like, force levitated a diamond ring onto her finger. And he was like, let's get married in a Catholic church. That would be like, Interesting direction.
He pretty much did that, didn't he? As far as Disney could allow.
Basically.
Oh
That's
man.
basically what happens.
So much senseless action.
Yeah, I know.
And then
It's
so
just
they land on
distraction.
some desert planet, and I was like, "Is this
know.
Tatooine?"
I was like, no, it's Jakku. Like what?
And
what
the
is
action ends, and they're in like some sinking fields. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking, a second ago, Rey was like, she was on Dagobah plus.
Yeah.
Floating and doing backflips and stuff. And like, here she is, and all of her friends getting caught in sinking sand. Like, can't she just lift them all out? All right? So whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, so
we have
there's-
to move on to the scene where a bunch of shit happens, and I officially go from this movie is a little clunky to like what?
Yeah.
Which is I'll just describe it here.
Okay.
Rey hears ship, which has Kylo Ren on it. Ship gets closer. Finn sees troopers take Chewie on ship. Rey kills Kylo's ship is what I wrote. This is hard to read.
Kills the First Order ship.
She like does that weird backflip and slices it with her lightsaber is what I mean.
Oh yeah.
So it crashes and you assume he's dead. but
Okay,
he's
hold
not.
on. Wait a sec.
Yeah, please interrupt this babbling.
A few things happened before that. They were traveling in the caves. They found the buried, like, ancient Imperial Nazi card. You remember they had that, like, weird
Yeah.
six-sided swastika thing? It was like a Mercedes car
weird.
from the 40s.
Some of the stuff they threw in.
What was going on here?
Because I got the same thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that spooky adventure underground. That was fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
And there was a snake. Remember there was, like, some weird snake
Do we miss that? Oh,
that was
shit,
injured
sorry.
in there?
Oh yeah, Rey heals the snake
Yeah,
monster.
and so she takes the wounds upon her body or something like that.
That's
And
right.
I'm just thinking
So
at that
she
point,
establishes there's this thing. I want to make a point about this because this annoys me a lot. It was when it's like the midichlorians thing. There's this need to explain the mystery.
Yeah.
That ruins the mystery. Okay? So that's how I feel about a lot of this Force stuff.
Yeah.
Her being like, because I was like, oh, what a cool moment where she heals the snake. And then she explains to whoever,
R2D2.
the audience, basically.
Why would she explain to
Because
R2D2?
it's for the audience, it's so that the audience can understand. Because she goes like, I put my energy into him, my Force energy. Okay? And it's like, all right, thanks. Thanks for ruining that
Yeah.
shit. But she ruined something cool. It's just like I don't know. It's like scooping a little dollop of shit onto a nice slice of cake that I'm
Man.
trying to enjoy. Always doing that stuff.
So Chewbacca gets loaded onto some prisoner
Yes.
thing. She
Yeah.
comes out. She blows it up.
Well, not okay.
There's this
So she
we-
tries
okay.
to stop it with the Force. Kylo shows up, tries to stop it. She
Yeah.
shoots lightning because she's too pissed off, and she blows it up. And your reaction was genuinely good. I might cut to some of Fuji's reactions because I filmed it.
Dude, I burst
You
out
were really
laughing.
into that. You're like, okay. I guess we're doing it. Like I had the same reaction when I first saw it. 'Cause I love that. I was like, wow, they really. Huh. Okay.
Dude, it wasn't
killed
just that there was
Chewie.
no tension, but they annihilated any tension that was in the movie.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Man.
It's funny because like I'm looking through my notes and the first thing I see is Chewie is alive because that happens very soon after this.
But the thing is that it didn't have to be that tensionless.
Yeah.
At that moment when Kylo Ren arrives, he just goes up. So Rey is already pulling back this interstellar vehicle with her mind, essentially. And Kylo Ren comes up and he fights her on that level.
Right.
I thought
Good
that
point.
would have been way more powerful if he came up, just ignited his lightsaber, and then forced her into a choice.
That'd be cool.
But there were a lot of those things.
Or just edit it so that there's a bit more of a pause before we see what he ends up doing, because then you have a moment to think about what he's going to do. Instead, it's just constantly throwing stuff in your face.
Not
Constantly.
even any time for the characters to make a decision.
Because I'm just registering and trying to appreciate what's already happening, and I don't know. There's not a whole lot of time to really, savor and appreciate much. It's just, which is too bad, because I like a lot of the stuff in this movie.
A lot of the visuals were cool.
A lot of the concepts are neat.
There's this little traumatized droid.
Sure.
Do you remember what the code is for that thing?
The wheel droid?
Yeah, the wheel droid. I thought that was probably the most sincere part of the movie.
Yeah, little Wally droid.
Yeah, and she gained his trust over the course of the movie. That was a great story, little mini story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Cool. So they scream about Chewie for a while. They're so sad about Chewie. I like some of the shots of just asteroids in space. Those are rad. There you go. That's something nice. Finn tries to convince Rey it's not her fault, but it is. She had a vision of the throne of the Sith. I constantly thought about Game of Thrones throughout this, which sucks, because since Game of Thrones ended, I haven't really heard that much about it. It just hasn't really stayed a cultural thing after the show.
What's Game of Thrones?
Daddy, what's Game of Thrones? We were all talking about it for many years.
For about 8 years.
Yeah, it was a long fucking time. Love that.
Yeah. This Moscow Mule is super tasty.
I'm really into it, man. Cool asteroids, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so...
Oh, the vision of the throne. Yeah, so she thinks her and Kylo are, like, destined to be this dyad of evil, basically, and rule under an iron fist. 2 iron fists. Well, 4, I guess. Together. Chewie's alive, captured. Meanwhile, the A team, they think that he's dead, and they're like, for Chewie.
And they find this bounty hunter ex-girlfriend of Poe's.
That's right. They're followed by an evil-looking ship.
And they have to find some technician who can get C-3PO to erase his memory and translate the evil
technician
texts.
Are you talking about Babu Frick?
Babu Frick.
My favorite.
And I was thinking how much cooler an actual puppet would have been.
Is it not a puppet, or is it CGI?
No, I think it's CGI. I mean, the hand movements were too nuanced, and I don't know.
Maybe.
And I think being humans, it's not that little squirrels and stuff can't be intricate, but as humans, we have a certain resolution at which we look at the world, and so we look at a little small thing, a little puppet, and we can admire a little puppet kind of moving the way a human does. And
true.
That puppet didn't. That puppet was, while it was a weird CGI thing.
He was more about vibe. You just don't get Babu Frick, man. He's all about the feel of the character and the atmosphere of fun that he builds around. He just like vibrates in a very, very good way.
It was an interesting part of the movie, I would say.
Do you like his catchphrase, which is hey?
I didn't notice that.
He says it a couple times. He says like 4 things, and 2 of them are that.
Anyway. So he agrees to abort C-3PO in favor of having him translate a few evil texts for about 20 seconds.
To be clear, he's aborting his memory. He's got to get rid of...
Right.
He got his mind to go back. I think he says something like that.
And so C-3PO spits out the coordinates for the Emperor Palpatine.
He has to forget everything about himself and his life in order to be able to speak an evil language.
And then he spends the rest of the movie being a useless and forgettable and annoying character.
That's not true, actually, because they, for some reason, give him his memory back. So you get to have it both ways.
His sacrifice meant nothing.
Once again. Yeah, there's a couple of those here. It's like Chewie died, and you're like, man, his death was senseless. Well, he didn't die, actually. Okay, so that's just another level to the senselessness. That doesn't solve anything. Same with 3PO. It's like, what? What's happening? I like when he looks at everybody. He's like, I want to look at my friends one last time. And I'm like, most of your friends are dead, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know what's sad? Let's bring up some sad stuff.
Yeah.
Later on, we're going to get Harrison Ford
Oh no.
and Mark Hamill as sort of a vision or memory and a ghost, respectively. And Carrie Fisher can't come back because she's actually dead. And that's sort of like a weird thing to point out in your movie by having that inconsistency. Oh, whatever. It's not a big deal. I just didn't want it. It just
Everybody
seems weird.
else is alive.
It just seems weird. It's sort of like, oh, everybody can come back except the person that's actually dead in real life. It's sort of like, you ruins the magic.
Carrie Fisher record the parts in episode 9 before she passed away?
Yes.
Or was that some of the CGI stuff that we saw in...
I think it's mostly just stuff that they had already, which is impressive considering they shoehorned her into a bunch of scenes and shoehorned a bunch of scenes with her into the movie.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one with her? And I don't even know where it. I didn't even write it down. I don't think where it's like her. It's Carrie Fisher talking to some like fat guy with a beard, and what's her name? Rose Tico is there in the background, but like Rose doesn't matter in the scene like at all. You know.
That was earlier on.
Was it?
Yeah. They were
Anyway.
explaining some plot point of where the rebels were going.
I guess. Yeah, it's just they just have to cover every little plot point, I guess. Yeah, so they just throw these little scenes in there and they make them cute and have a lot of minor characters in this movie
It's too many to keep track of.
because they're not interesting. They're not like
Yeah, they're not significant.
there's so many
They
boring
don't do
ones.
much.
Speaking of which, we should talk about what's her name? Oh God, I wrote what's her name?
Rose?
Zori,
Zori.
50-year-old Power
Oh,
Ranger.
the
I called her.
bounty hunter. So Poe's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, and she's always wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
And she looks like a Power
at
Ranger.
most she shows her eyes, which is very vulnerable.
Yes,
They had some romance in the past.
clearly.
Poe needs some information that leads them to the Emperor so he can impress his new love interest.
Right.
And
And she leads them to Babu. She's important in her own way. She's just not interesting. She's just a character of convenience.
but she comes back later.
Not to shit on everything, but
It seems like that's
Oh.
most of what we're doing.
I didn't want it to be that way, but that is what's
Dude,
happening.
I can't help it.
You got to speak the truth.
I really tried.
Yeah, it's good.
You know,
It's fine.
looking at this story and being
Dude,
like, oh,
we have-
like that part was pretty good.
Before
Like,
we're
okay.
done with this, we'll have said some nice things about this movie.
Yeah.
So
General
we're not
Pride.
just cynical assholes.
Okay, but there is a
Well,
character
hold
called
on.
General Pride.
Yeah, but the Power Ranger lady says there's more of us. That's important. So
Yeah.
General Pride, yeah, what's up with that? I don't know.
He's more,
Clearly, I
more
just-
powerful
really, I
than
don't
the
know.
redheaded Imperial guy.
Oh, yeah, he's the spy, it
He's
turns out.
in touch with Emperor Palpatine, and they go back to Endor, and
Endor? Is that actually where they are at?
it's one of the moons of Endor. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, that's why they have the Death Star piece that fell down.
Oh, that's right. Of course, that makes sense. I wasn't really thinking about anything, anything in this movie. I was just writing and enjoying drama.
So the A team, well, at least Rey's team, goes to the Death Star remnants.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a confrontation scene with Kylo Ren.
Is this before or after she takes like a little boat out there? Is this in the Death Star?
No, she has the boat. Yeah.
Yeah, she's on that little
They go on the
sci-fi
planet.
boat.
Yeah, and they're like, we gotta wait till tomorrow, and she says, we can't wait till tomorrow, and then she steals a boat.
That's right. I was just I brought up while we were watching it. The effects must have been a bitch for that part.
Those were huge waves.
For like just this kind of like random addition to the where they're like, oh, she has to cross this water on this boat, and I'm like, Man, there's so many difficult shots that these poor ILM guys had to
But what was
do.
the point of those waves?
Yeah, exactly. For
Did
kind
it-
of just not that interesting a scene. I was like,
It-
fuck, man.
Just took 30 seconds of screen time.
Yeah. Whatever. It was memorable enough that I didn't even see it in my notes and I remembered it. So fine. It's good.
And Kylo Ren and Rey fight it out on the Death Star remnants.
The Death Star. This whole movie is Death Star.
And then it looks like Mustafar, but instead of lava and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin,
Yeah.
it's water
It really felt like that.
and Rey and Kylo.
It really. You
Oh,
said that, and I was
Revenge
kind of
of
like,
the
yeah,
Sith.
kind of. And then we kept watching, and I was like, no, yeah, this is the Mustafar battle on a lava planet, but with water. I'm like, damn, it's a boring choice.
Yeah. So
Whatever.
So Kylo is busy telling Rey all sorts of bad news about her childhood.
Yes.
Who knows why it matters so much at this point, because Rey has found her purpose and is fighting for the rebel cause. But anyway,
Well, that's the thing. There's no real tension to any of this because I'm like, I know what Rey is gonna do. She's always gonna do the right thing. Blah blah. I mean, I think you could say the same about Luke and like Return of the Jedi and stuff. But I'm like, fine, but like you don't show the same thing again over and over again in a later movie, and expect me to have the same thrill or even a greater thrill. Why? Because you're showing me the same temptation over and over again. To
Yeah,
the
it
point-
wasn't new.
Yeah, whatever. I guess I'm just that good of a person that I'm like, I'm never tempted by anything. I can't relate to this anymore.
So Kylo Ren is busy
Yeah.
bursting Rey's bubble. Oh, you're a Palpatine, blah, blah, blah. But also, Palpatine gave the order to kill Rey's parents.
Right.
Order 67.
Well, yeah, so Rey was nobody, like he told her in the last movie. But that's sort of being glossed over here, where it's like they were nobody. They chose to be nobody so that you could be free and safe. But a scrapper on a desert planet, but whatever. They did it out of love, basically, is the idea here. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Yeah, you're an orphan, but your parents loved you. Feel better.
Yeah.
Come with me.
You should be grateful that they tried to... Anyway, so Rey is Palpatine's
Yes.
granddaughter.
Yeah.
And,
And she's got a destiny and all that. Yep. Oh, are we at the, like, cute black lady, the former stormtrooper?
yeah.
So she's sort of like the female version of Finn, basically.
Yeah, they're really similar.
But she's, like, happier.
Yeah, she's made sense of her existence.
Yes. Yeah, she's totally on her purpose, and he's
Yeah, she's
kind
a
of
little
flailing
wiser
all the
than
time.
Finn is. That's for sure.
Hey, he's a general, okay? Finn says the Force brought everyone together, by the way. He has some Force stuff going on in this one, where he has feelings about things, and he has a connection to the Force that seems genuine.
Mm-hmm.
I like all the actors in these movies, by the way. Should probably mention that. Like, that's one thing I can't really fault any of these movies, the new ones especially, on, is they're all really good. And especially there's going to be focus on Palpatine, which is wise, because Ian McDiarmid is the best.
He's the strongest character in the new trilogy.
He did, and he did Satan's voice in a Paradise Lost audiobook. And it's
Whoa.
fucking rad. So
I should check that out.
check it out. Rey climbs around in the Death Star, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Sees the triangle thing. The tetrahedron.
Oh, man.
Sith Rey, though, appears. I forgot about that. Sith Rey shows up with a Darth Maul lightsaber.
Like the switchblade lightsaber.
Butterfly knife switch.
Yeah, and they have a
Fucking
fight that lasts
nunchuck.
exactly 7.5 seconds.
Well, because it's just a trip. This whole movie is just a weird Star Wars trip. It's like
So-
you took acid and watched the Star Wars trilogy, and this is what you
has
wrote.
an encounter seeing herself against the reflection of her own power.
Pretty trippy.
Yeah, okay,
stuff.
sure.
Is it a Kylo trick? I think that's why this was happening, though. He shows up right after this.
Mm-hmm.
And the dark side is in our nature, he says. Mm. Rey wants, she wants the tetrahedron, swings at Kylo, but he just dodges.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a lightsaber out, and he's just like dodge.
Is this the
dodge.
scene where he eventually does take a lightsaber out?
He does take his lightsaber out after all the dodging. And Maz Kanata cutaway is so funny. Do you remember this? It just cuts to like Maz Kanata in the forest or something, and she says something, and it's just like the most boring shot.
Yeah, why?
I don't remember.
Why
I don't
did
remember
it
what she says.
Come up right at that.
And to be fair, I was yelling at the TV, and I was like, also Maz Kanata is in this movie, and you laughed very hard. And then I have none of us have any idea why the fuck she was there. But she was. And then back to what's actually happening, which is like this watery fight. Finn yells Rey some more. He does that. Leia remotely distracts Kylo. That's right. So there's more of that Force connection going on here. I'll say I don't mind that in this movie. Like people will say like, well, that's not consistent or whatever, these Force powers that people have in this movie. And I'm kind of like, okay, but like they're really rolling with this whole idea that like the Force has a plan that's bigger than all the people that are involved and playing it out. And when all these people start having emergent powers, it's kind of cool. It feels like there's like this power
Communal
that's building.
force.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm like fine with it. You can make fun of Leia flying in The Last Jedi, and it's like, all right, but it's also kind of like, wait, why is this happening? This is interesting. They don't do it casually. They do it very heavily. I'm like, oh, maybe there is like
that was a memorable
spiritual
scene.
undertone to this whole thing.
Yeah,
it was memorable. There was laughter the first time.
but at least they tried to say something.
Yeah, I'm fine with all this stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm applying meaning where there is none.
Well, that's not bad.
It's better than not
Any case,
looking for it.
Rey stabs Kylo and kills him.
Yes, that's right. He drops his lightsaber. She grabs it and stabberoonie.
And then immediately regrets it. And roll credits. Just kidding. She uses her healing powers and takes away his stab wound.
No more owie.
And Kylo's fine.
Yeah. He's off later. He's brooding by the water looking like Batman. And then Harrison Ford shows up. Oh, and Leia dies. Sorry to laugh at that, but it's kind of odd in the film. You're just kind of like, someone's like, Leia's dead. Like, what? Wow, okay. All right. They didn't really weave that into the story very articulately or effectively.
How did she die?
I don't remember. I just wrote, she's gone, says the bird-looking lady that makes out with another woman at some point.
That's true.
Chewie cries. That's sad.
But it's kind of subdued.
Yeah.
That wasn't 5.5 episodes worth of tears.
It wasn't even like when he thinks Luke and Han are lost out in the snow on Hoth. You know, when they close the door and he's like, he's like so upset. Here he's just sort of like,
yeah, you got this zoomed out shot of Poe's X-Wing.
Yep. Harrison Ford goes to see Kylo Ren. Hey, kid. Kylo Ren is what? Kylo Ren is dead, he says. My son is alive. Ben. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. So this is a callback to episode 7. Looking back on that. When he killed his father.
Was that the episode where he killed Han?
Yes.
So he was fully...
I don't remember. Did I write down why he said that here? I don't know. He did. Emperor in cool hologram. That's right. There's this really cool glitchy hologram with him, and he's like, ah! It's just his face. He sets a trap for the gang, I guess. He's just like, they are fucked. There are so many of us. And then at the end, it's like, well, spoiler, but here we go. It's like, all the ships in the world are here to defeat the Empire. It's like, fine. Whatever.
Lots of
Whatever keeps
holograms.
this space opera going, I guess.
And so they have this plan. You destroy the main comm tower, and then all the Star Destroyers have no shields.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kick them all in the cannon, and they all blow up. And there are thousands of these Star Destroyers.
Yeah, to be clear, this is like all these Star Destroyers have planet-killing abilities.
All of them.
Right.
Thousands of planet killers.
Right.
And maybe 100
It's sort of like... sort of like
starfighters come out the first time.
It's like the rebels are the Axis and the Empire is the Allies, and the Allies have the nukes. So the Axis has to surrender at this point. But no, the rebels are going to be saying, no, we will defend our heritage and destroy the Allies, which is the Empire.
They unify in front.
This isn't a very good metaphor, but you know what I mean. It's
How
sort of they're just like you guys have super weapons. We get it, but we're gonna keep fighting you guys. You know, it sucks to be a rebel, man.
I never thought of it like that.
Don't think too hard about it, man.
Okay, not on air at least. Why? Okay.
Every
So
ship in the fleet has planet-killing weapons. Says expedition, man.
Man, there was a
Exposition, man.
lot of stuff that happened in that last section.
Yeah, I know. It's just like
So
fuck it at this
Kylo
point.
dies and disappears, and
Yeah. Luke
Rey
shows up. That part's cool.
fights Emperor Palpatine and decides not to kill him.
Well, yeah. So Luke, wait. Yeah, first Luke has his little interaction with Rey, where she throws the lightsaber away and he catches it and he says like, that's the most important thing ever, which is ironic, of course, because she gives him a lightsaber, and at the beginning of TLJ he chucks it away,
Yeah, good
and
point.
then he takes his shit in his hand and wipes it on his face. I think that happened in that movie. Maybe they didn't go that far with it, but
But that's kind of
that was the vibe of that whole sequence. But here he's like, no, look, I am a Jedi who loves the Force. So don't worry. The last movie didn't really matter. I'm your buddy, and I'm here to tell you, you can do it, Rey. Believe in yourself. You don't need a man to save you. You can do it on your own. And, he's got billowing ghost hair. I liked that. They really blew him at the fan. So he was like clearly from the spirit realm, I guess. I don't know. There's just some stuff that came off sloppy in this movie. It was kind of like, why is it? Whatever. It's one of those things that I'd have to like show you frame by frame what I mean. Like, why is his hair blowing like that? It doesn't look good.
mm-hmm.
Little things piss me off. Little things matter, man.
They do.
Luke on Palpatine's situation. He says, some things are more powerful than blood. Bold statement. I guess spirit is the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like, your blood, your lineage, your family. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who your family is. Don't worry about that. It's about the spirit that compels you. That's what it's all about. And you want to use that good light spirit, not that dark side stuff. That's not so good.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I like the Burzum shirt, dude.
Yeah, wearing a Burzum shirt today.
Yeah.
Why not?
Burzum, great inspiration.
Most people don't even know what the fuck I'm wearing. But then the ones that do are like, what? Wait.
Yeah, man. Our latest album, Sovereign,
Yes.
took a lot of inspiration from, especially that Burzum album, Philosophim.
Yeah, like your production is definitely, I don't know. Seems like you really like learned a lot from that album.
As well as Gorgoroth Instinctus Bestialis.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. So
Listen to Gorgoroth.
it's in the works.
It's happening soon.
We're almost halfway through mastering the Void Warrior tracks.
Yeah.
We
And
got
like
the CD art
album
on the
art
way.
is
Yeah.
almost done, and yeah, it's almost ready to go.
Yeah.
Pretty stoked, man. It's been a long time coming. So
Yeah. Some heavy
look
stuff.
forward to that.
Some heavy stuff coming through on this album.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
It's so close to done. I can taste it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my, wow. I've gotten so used to just being like, oh man, we're still working on this thing, and then like,
Worth it. Worth the
yeah,
time.
for sure, for sure. And then what's next is going to be who knows. It's so cool.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, enough music talk, more movie talk. Oh yeah, so Luke hovitates the X-Wing out of the lake with the Force, with his ghost Force powers. C-3PO got his memory back. Okay, good. The gang sees Rey going to Exegol with the
Oh, is that the
tetrahedron.
name of the planet?
Yes.
So we finally got there.
Yay.
Oh, that's great. I had forgotten about
I know. I
About
heard it
a
a million
third of the way
times,
into
and
the
I,
movie.
I finally wrote it down. That's probably on us, that one. But
Yeah.
it's hard to keep track of this fucker.
There were so many planets.
I know. And not a lot of intro to each one. It was like it wasn't like one scene leading into another where you're like, we'll have to go to Ubi-Zubi, and then like it flies to a planet, and you're like, that must be Ubi-Zubi. Like, no context. Just like, here we are in a place.
The desert planet
there's the
of
festival.
Tatooine. It's like, okay, cool. I remember Tatooine because we're there for a
Right.
third of the movie.
But here she clearly leads them to Exegol.
Okay, sure. All I know is she's fighting
Enough
the
ice.
Emperor, and
Yeah, that's all. Good versus evil. Okay?
I'll have some of that. if
And
that's
no
okay.
nuance. Yeah, here. Here, I have some of my. This is the last one, so we better share it. Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go.
Not too much.
Not too much.
Jeez.
Cheers, dude. Beer good. Battle with the Star Destroyers. So this is the. I wrote boring. That was all I wrote about it. That's all that I wrote about the battle here. They just fight the Star Destroyers. There's a lot of these battles that just don't really make an impression. I'm just like,
So
okay.
much fighting, so little consequence.
Well, because it's not. When you make a fight scene or a battle, like you have to track.
Stakes.
You have to be able to track what's going on. Where you're like, okay, yeah, stakes. Where there's the stakes are built up here enough, I guess. But it's like, you have to know. You have to see the play of it. You have to see like, okay, oh shit, these guys are taking over here, but oh look, these guys are coming from the side, and like you have to see kind of the strategy and like, one versus the other, and the two sides
back and forth
trying
interplay.
to win, or like just tell a fucking story here. But here it's like they do that one time, and later, and when it's like clearly the good guys are losing, ha ha ha.
Yeah, and before then, I didn't even know it was dangerous for the good guys. I thought the good guys had it in the bag from the start. No. But it's like, oh, just so you know, you're not winning.
Yeah, I know, but it just comes down to like action and how you
you
the
tell the
reason
story.
for it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So Rey is now in spooky Palpatine lair, spooky environment number 238, and then the Emperor music, not from the band Emperor, but the theme of the Emperor. Listen to I Am the Black Wizards.
Hold on, wait a sec. Yeah, spoiler-free mini review. Is that what it's called? Yeah, I Am the Black Wizards by Emperor. We were on the way. We helped a friend move.
Yes.
We went to North Vancouver to pick up a new guitar for
It's over there. It's behind you.
Ooh.
Yes.
Nice, beautiful LTD.
Yeah.
Picked it up from some guy.
EMGB.
Put in
ESP.
this album.
Yeah.
Man, great stuff. Had to stop for coffee to make
Yeah.
it back. And while I was in the cafe grabbing it, There was Chris in the car, inseparable from
Yeah, I
this
rolled
guitar.
the window down so I could stick the headstock out the window and just
Yeah.
play my new LCD.
So good. So
Yeah,
good.
it's weird. I never would have thought I'd get a guitar like that, and then I saw that one, and I was like, "That's exactly what I want." It's so weird. I'd never looked at anything like that and been like, "I need that." But as soon as I saw that one,
Dude. This is
and
gonna
now I
be a
want to
sick-
get like an ESP, and I want to get more of that. You play a Jackson, and it's got that similar like pointy metal kind of thing
Yeah.
going on. Yeah. So now I'm just jerking off to ESPs and even Jacksons. Not to your Jackson. I would never do that to Niobe.
No offense taken. So,
Mm.
the Star Destroyers are getting blown up.
Can you tell we're bored of this movie?
No, we're so interested. All the rebels in
It's
the
fun.
universe appear to counteract the thousands
Yeah.
of Star Destroyers.
That's right. And Finn uses a feeling for strategy at one point. The horsey people show up. Have we gotten there yet?
I don't remember that.
Do you remember that?
No.
Because the other stormtrooper, the black lady,
Yeah.
she was on like a horsey looking thing, Star Wars horse. And,
I just
a
had a
bunch of them
great
show up.
idea. Dude,
yeah.
how about for one of these movies, one of us doesn't watch the movie?
I just
Some-
explain it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, horse people. Who's Finn helping out? Like, what's
I have the
deal?
I have the perfect movie for that.
What is it?
Gremlins 2.
Yeah,
Because you haven't seen it. You've seen the first Gremlins, and they're so different that if I explain Gremlins 2 to you, that's actually the funniest idea.
Okay, so
Because you'll just be like, no.
why don't we do that? So we'll do a little chat session about Gremlins 2.
Yeah,
You'll watch it first,
sure.
and then we'll both watch it, and then we'll both have the post Gremlins 2 talk.
I'm down, man. I've seen that movie a gazillion times, and I'm
I've
down
seen
to
it
make it a
0
gazillion and
times.
2.
Zillion and 2, man. I'll be up to 1.
Nice.
Is it different from the original?
Yeah. It takes place in a city instead of a small town.
Oh no.
And no, but I'll give you some backstory though.
Oh, okay.
Basically, the guy that was it Joe Dante that made the first one didn't want to make another one because he was like, I already went through the pain of making one Gremlins movie.
Yeah.
Like that's not exactly your dream film. I don't want to do it again. Sorry. And they were like, please, here's a bunch of money, I guess. I don't know how they talked him into it, but he was like, fine, I'm going to do it my way. And they're like, all right. So he's like, I'm going to fuck around a lot. And I'm going to get weird with it.
Okay,
And he
sure.
does. And the budget's way bigger. And like, I think, because it's on a bigger scale. And it's rad. Well, I won't tell you anything else, but I
Okay.
think I think it's a really fun idea.
Let's do it.
Yeah. After the 2 weeks after... This is in November. Bonnie Henry told BC people that we shouldn't have people over that don't live at our houses. So,
But the limit is on social interactions.
yeah,
This is a business interaction.
That's
in case you're
true.
not sure.
that's true. We can finagle something that way.
Well, I'm still going to go to my regular day job
Yeah,
on Monday, and I trust that you will too.
it's true.
So will restaurateurs?
What? Oh yeah, restaurateurs will definitely be there.
Most businesses will start
Mhm.
as per usual on Monday. It's
I can still order food.
just idle social interactions will be locked down on.
That's what's weird. Yeah, it's funny, but I guess you're more likely to swap fluids with someone in a social situation
Not here.
than. Well, we did clink our cups together.
Somehow I don't think that's the same thing.
I guess.
Anywho.
But you want to prevent it. It's not about what you and I are doing. It's about what the masses are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
like,
there's some stuff that's...
Joe Sixpack is out fucking 12 cheerleaders tonight.
I think this lockdown is too late because what we're seeing in the spike of cases
It's always
is from Halloween.
reactive. Yeah. Yeah,
right?
totally.
Several days after the big Halloween get-togethers.
Exactly.
I didn't have a Halloween get-together. Did you?
By the time you watch this, you might be watching something on TV that says the Christmas COVID spike has been doing something. Hopefully, I don't have to wait that long, but I want to have like a certain number kind of logged before I start throwing them out, and it's being thwarted by the goddamn government telling me I have to be safe.
Fair enough.
I don't like being safe. I want to be
Ready go to the
dangerous.
bathroom.
Okay. So Rey confronts Palpatine. He calls her Empress Palpatine.
So he's just, I just been waiting to see my little girl. I'm so happy to see you.
He's like Joe Biden. He's like, I just want to sniff you.
Kill me and ascend to the throne,
This is
my
just-
little one.
It's just Return of the Jedi again, man. He's just like, strike me down in front of all these people in a weird ritual version of that other movie.
Yeah, that was odd.
Same shit, man. Well, shit.
Yeah.
Kind of bogus, if you ask me. Oh, well.
And they do the same opening up. You see,
Yeah. Oh, by the
All
way,
these
he
ships
even
blowing
mentions
up.
here, again, this thing, it's like The Shining. So you have The Shining and then you have Doctor Sleep. Both good books, one good movie, one shit movie. The reason the movie is shit, the second one, sorry if you like it out there, but I really don't. I thought it was totally missed the mark. That's my critical standpoint on Doctor Sleep, but it's because fundamentally it was all about explaining absolutely everything from the world of The Shining. And I was like, don't do that in your movie. Keep suspense going the whole way through, and it'll be a lot better for you. And they just explain. And again, it was just like, we are vampires that suck energy. And because we suck energy, that's why we're so spooky. And I'm like, nah. It kind of like takes the wind out of the sails. So constantly mentioning this shit makes it annoying. That's all. So for Palpatine to do that, he never did this with Luke. Like, I will take the energy out of you. I will lick the midichlorians out of your force hole.
fingernails or something. That's a good point.
Shoot lightning with energy, you see. It's like,
It
shut
was
up about the
allowed
energy.
to stay mystical.
Yeah, mysterious, you see. The black girl drops a bomb into a hatch and says, this should do it.
They're blowing up a command ship.
Yes. And they have a bunch of things they need to do in order to complete that objective.
Yeah,
Would make a great video game.
I agree.
But it's not. It's a film. Palpatine shows the rebels getting... Right, so he opens up a big window to show space. And he's like, look at your rebel friends.
Lightning up at the
That's right. That was cool. Some of the sound there was really cool. It was like...
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Palpatine is stronger than ever.
Yes.
Does he feel like it?
I was pulling the strings.
Does
No,
not
he
feel
feels like
very powerful.
a fucking whatever bad guy.
And man, like they took these special effects too far.
Yeah.
I gotta say, or at least the story
No, it's
wasn't
not that it's
strong enough to support.
not. It's not that it's too far. It's that it's too samey. It's like, because I'm seeing stuff from Harry Potter and I'm seeing stuff from Game of Thrones and I'm seeing stuff from Star Wars and this and that and the other thing. I'm just like, it's so like, I get that you're trying to synthesize a big movie that sort of closes this whole series and everything, and I get that it's hard and everything, but fuck, that's when you really need some creativity, and it just wasn't there. Like, yeah, it's pushing the effects, like you say, but it's just not... it's not in the service of anything new, and that lack of novelty is what just... Blah. It's like, yeah, lightning in the sky. Yeah, it's fucking... It was neat.
The coolest part of the movie
Yeah.
was I am every voice you have ever heard.
Yeah. Right.
That was what really freaked me out. Yeah, I was thinking.
In your head.
Titles. What is it? The title crawl.
Yeah.
Talked about Palpatine and a vision of Palpatine, and in a moment I had like a premonition of Satan.
Cool.
Like
that's good writing.
This is evil beyond any evil you have ever known. Directing all the evil narratives that exist in your head.
Pure evil.
And it addressed that right in the beginning. And then the rest of it was nonsense.
Too much bullshit. Yep.
Yeah. Too much inconsequential action, I would say.
Yes.
Some really cool individual
It tore the world
shots.
apart.
Yeah. Like individual shots, individual scenes were cool. As a whole, did not hold together.
No, because we're here at the confrontation. And it's not cool. By the way, Ben is jumping around and he falls and he says, ow.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to go try to save Rey is the idea.
Yeah.
Palpatine says something again, I wrote. Good notes. So Ben shows up with a blaster. Ooh. Rey force
gives up his lightsaber. I'm so civilized.
He like
pew, pew, pew,
puts
pew,
it behind her. She puts it behind her like she's putting it into a scabbard on her back or whatever. But really she's passing it to Ben via the time-space continuum.
And that part comes full circle, which was at least kind of neat, I guess. Yep.
Yeah! Nailed it.
So, good job, Disney!
Yay! Some sensibility. So kills... I wrote Palpatine's putty patrollers. Yeah. I was getting a lot of Power Rangers. By the way, I loved Power Rangers growing up. I'm not complaining. So he kills a bunch of putties and then meets up with Rey. Palpatine says, what? A dyad in the Force.
I will suck up both of your power.
There's so many of these like heavy lines that are just, if you think about them for a second, you're just like, whatever. Like there's so like.
The second legislative assembly will reconvene after a prohibitory period of 90 days.
So dry and dressed up. The power of the two restores the one true emperor. And therefore, it's like, fuck off. Boring.
Oh, man.
God damn it. Because he just sits there.
Yeah.
It's like...
Where's the compelled choice?
Yeah. Where's the, like, exactly, make me think about this.
One of the things I always thought about
Return
of the Jedi. Would Luke have been wrong to snuff out the Emperor?
It's questionable.
Man.
But here it's very clear. Don't do it because he's telling you to, and he says that it'll fulfill an evil prophecy.
Yeah.
So you just have to wait for a man to save you, I guess.
Maybe.
Because Kylo shows up.
Yeah. And then the Emperor sucks both their souls out, gets a lot of power.
That's right. Then they go to the Overlook
shocks all the rebel starfighters all at once, even though they just arrived. So the entire battle is going back and forth. Shoots Kylo Ren.
As your father fell, so shall you fall into the abyss.
And then he knocks him down.
Very good. So he sucks their life. I wrote that with 2 C's. What? Something lose. Oh, yeah. Poe is losing hope because the battle isn't going well. His friends are dying. Says there's too many of them, but then there's more of us.
And Lando shows up. With everybody.
A huge fleet. Just this is one shot of just like, blah, there's a gazillion ships in the sky. Here they come. Fine, I guess. It's the same thing in every fucking It's a Star Wars formula. It's like Han Solo shows up, surprise, saves the day.
You remember
Someone has to
the
show up.
very first scene? No, very second. There was hyperspace.
Yes.
I think it was the first when Kylo Ren was killing all these masked individuals. Grabs the little tetrahedron, and then his TIE fighter hyperspaces. And I'm thinking,
right,
man, like that's a really powerful tool. Like in think about in some ancient Indonesian or Chinese story, hey, this character traveled 1,000 miles. There would be in that storytelling 100 stories in that journey.
right.
Star Wars gives you the opportunity with hyperdrive to skip all that, get to the next point. Nothing happened in that first scene, really, except, hey guys, you remember Kylo Ren? He's a bad guy. So they misuse that tool.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I guess it's sort of like, I don't know. I'm trying to very abstractly form the Star Wars movies into something that I can kind of grasp as like little units. And it's like the first one is like is like a fun adventure. It's like a trip that you go on. Like a weird vacation where some fucked up stuff happens, but then in the end, you know, you conquered all your fears and you got over everything, and your world expanded and all this stuff, and oh, how magical. What a great trip. And then this one is sort of like, I took a lot of speed and I went to that same place that I went all those years ago, and it just wasn't the same. So I just kept taking speed and I just started running around and I started seeing the same people, and I would just run to them and have the same conversations over and over and over again, and just over and over and over again. And it was all happening really fast. And like, you know, that's just not as satisfying as a unique magical adventure.
You know, that kind of was what the last 3 movies in this trilogy of trilogies,
Just going back.
having that same conversation, but it wasn't the same.
No, I was trying to recreate something that had already been done, and by then it's the difference between culture and civilization, my friend. It's you know, the Greeks create one thing, the Romans rip it off, and then it's just sort of dogma at that point. And they sort of lost the essence, the creativity and imagination that initially spawned it. And it's fine sometimes, but eventually it's ultimately something you'd find at the tail end of something. That's why it works. I don't know. There's nothing that doesn't make sense. It's in this, you know. There's nothing. I'm just sort of like, yeah, this is like what a tired trilogy of trilogies looks like.
To do with taste.
Yeah.
It's what would you do with a story that's been going on for 40 plus years?
It's a longie.
How would you tell a story to people who have been listening to this particular narrative since 1977?
A long time, man.
Would you approach it the way that these guys did? Man, it's the real issue with treating Star Wars like a commodity.
Yeah.
But stories aren't like that. Stories last through time.
Yeah. Well, exactly. They don't apply to the same rational reasoning that leads to a product like this. Good stories just aren't like that. I agree. So, I don't know. It's a really cool. I love the case study of the Star Wars saga, because you can really see that. You can see what true inspiration looks like, and what the kind of the not genuine article looks like, even when they try and they do get so close sometimes. Even if it's kind of by rote like this.
Some of the stuff in this movie was pretty cool.
Yeah, sure.
The first, I'd say, interaction between I would say Luke and Leia, if I weren't thinking, but Kylo and Rey,
Yeah, they got a cool little
when they're having
operatic
that
romance.
little interspatial talk. She's on the nondescript desert planet with a necklace. He's on the Star Destroyer and all that. And in the frame, they're occupying opposite parts of the frame.
Right.
And so there's this real like tension developing there
Cool.
between the two characters. Like some of that stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
It's quite well done.
Yeah, the storytelling is nice.
And I think overall, individual scenes went really well, but they didn't all fit together in a piece that was
we
masterfully woven into one fabric.
Yeah, right. It was just like very tunnel vision. Every little piece was kind of like,
Yeah,
we're gonna make this little chunk really good.
Yeah.
But with kind of blinders on and not really knowing.
I think a real missed opportunity was the character of Finn.
Yeah, me too, man.
His character in this movie was pretty much, in an emergency, you scream the loudest. He didn't do a whole lot else.
No.
So he didn't have a lot of
His journey
depth.
wasn't interesting either. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, well, he's just experiencing this crazy shit going on around him. It's like, not really. Like, he was on the same ride as a lot of the gang, and him and I'd say Poe as well. They just weren't utilized well in this one.
And
Which for
Rose-
such a bloated movie, you'd think like they would have something where I was like, wow, cool.
Who was important in this movie? Ray,
Ray, Ben,
Kylo, Ben,
Palpatine.
Emperor Palpatine, Leia,
Yeah.
Han Solo,
Yeah.
Luke.
And then the rest were sort of just tools.
Yeah.
And even though a lot of the ones you mentioned,
And the spy guy.
they're kind of for emotional propping up in places.
Yeah, the thing, I think there could have been some really emotional points of the movie.
Yeah. That's what was
The
missing.
red-headed spy who ended up working for the rebels all along had been around doing some pretty evil stuff
Yeah.
for 2 whole episodes.
Well,
Has this moment of repentance outside of the movies. And then he's killed like that.
that's the thing. Like, it doesn't respect its characters enough to be like, okay, redheaded spy guy, let's treat this guy as a real character and not just be like, I'm the spy, but there's a catch. It's like, no, that's not good enough. You have to give me a little more, or he's the same as all the other faceless Empire guys, as far as I'm concerned.
Totally.
He got a little more going on in the last movie, I guess.
But
Whatever,
here-
but
Here he ended up just being some other guy.
yeah, that's a big twist to just sweep under the rug. And that's this whole movie, the rug is just like a convex fucking lump. It's just like sweeping everything under the rug
Yeah.
to the point where you're like,
That's the problem.
okay, let's just go on the adventure, whatever. But
So-
that's
so-
frustrating.
So I think overall this movie for me,
Yes. Thumbs down? Yeah.
yeah.
I'd say so too. I didn't even want to watch it this time.
I'm glad
Yet I'm
I
doing a
watched
podcast
it
about it.
because at least out of this movie we got to do a podcast out of it. And oh man,
Let's at least wrap it up here.
do I consider it canon? No. This doesn't seem in line with the characters of Luke, Leia, Han, Emperor Palpatine.
Well,
the
worse, it
Force in
feels like
general.
it's just cannibalizing all that stuff. All the things you like.
If this had nothing to do with Star Wars,
Mm.
it was some novel Disney themes with Disney characters, Disney cultures, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd be totally into it. But it wasn't that. But it wasn't that.
No. Oh, I guess the war is over. We're done.
They have a big.
Did it feel like we were building to that? Because I don't think so.
They had a big old celebration.
They go to a Jawa.
Lots
They
of
have
hugging.
they have big all the hugging. Some ladies kiss. That was cool. Ooh, thank you. There's a Jawa sand crawler. This is the epilogue. Falcon lands nearby. Ray goes to
Who
Luke's
are you?
plane. Oh, yeah.
Ray.
Ray. Yeah, Ray. Ray who? Ray Skywalker. And then everyone goes,
Why are you talking like that? Like, did you have too much of the space myth? I mean, Mos Eisley can be pretty rough.
That's Babu Frick's side hustle. He sells space meth. He's like, hey,
No, I'm just working through some significant personal issues. Ray, Albert.
I want to squeeze goodness out of this movie so much, man. I'm like, who's my favorite character?
Individual shots,
Yes.
individual
Yes,
happenings
definitely.
are great. I don't know. Build towards
Some of
something
them.
bigger.
Some of them, though. I mean,
Overall, I don't know. So you said characters.
Yeah.
Palpatine was a favorite for me.
Yep.
But, I mean, he bought the whole movie for me in that first couple minutes.
I think he blew his
am
load too
every
soon
voice that
in
you
this.
have ever heard. You know, all that stuff.
Dude, how are you going to top that after that first scene with him? Like, he just sort of spells everything out. It is a final confrontation of sorts.
Maybe
And
that
then you
should
have a
come up.
whole 2 hours to get to him again.
So you put that at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
right? Now you get Kylo Ren showing up,
Well,
now
yeah.
encountering the real challenge of evil. Like,
Instead of like following the clues in a magic dagger or whatever, like what the fuck?
Yeah, what
like,
was that
like
dagger about?
instead, it's. I was gonna say Ralph. Ray's. I'm gonna call her Ralph. Ralph's journey to find her true origins. Make that make that the journey, not looking
And-
at stupid artifacts like it's Indiana Jones.
and you give Kylo the chance to do something redemptive. So he's going on this journey to like
Kill Ray. Make sure she doesn't live.
whatever
Yeah.
for the whole movie. Gets to the end, and then he ends up saving her life,
Sure.
taking on her wounds as his own, disappears into the Force.
That'd be fine.
That'd be.
I have a
think that'd
ton
be
of
really meaningful.
ideas of directions to go with something like this, where I would just go, like for me, it would be, okay, The Last Jedi was sort of a sloggy movie, to put it lightly. Well, I don't want to just say, it was terrible. That's just not interesting, not constructive. What I would say is that it's sort of like, it's the one where Ray and Luke just hang out in a cave talking about what's the point of all this? Is there a point to all this? Maybe fuck it, right?
Yeah.
This movie should have just been that, starting from kind of on the upswing at the end of The Last Jedi, where everyone's kind of like, you know what? No, let's crush these motherfuckers, and really having a lot of optimism. And I think it could have had a lot of like positive and optimistic feel to it, and kind of in the way of Return of the Jedi does. But instead, you got a lot of just darkness and uncertainty. And like moral ambiguity, where I'm like, now is not the time for that. Now is the time for we are good, they are evil. Let's do this, and not be like, why are we figuring out puzzles? Like, just like, I don't know. They needed that light to drive
There
it.
wasn't too much light
No,
in these movies.
no.
And maybe
No,
that's
it didn't. It couldn't plant its feet in any kind of like goodness or morality.
And there was potential. There was real potential
Dude,
in
yes, it was like right
Ray
there.
and Kylo.
Oh,
were
all
getting
over the
close.
place. A lot of little ideas that just weren't properly built upon, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I had fun anyway. This was fun. This was really fun.
Most fun part was hanging out with you, dude.
For sure, man. You too. And now 2 weeks of social isolation.
Well, it's a good thing these are business meetings,
Yes.
I have to say.
That's right. You're right. I gotta make that official. Start a podcasting company, and then just have something to point to. You know,
Yeah.
if the COVID police knocks down my door.
I think it's the T2126 that you fill out on your tax form if you're self-employed.
You would know more than me.
I'm gonna be looking more into this coming up.
Right.
Because there are certain things that need to go on to sustain the greater good.
And on that note, thanks for listening to and watching, hopefully, to every goddamn week.
Dude, thanks for having me. It's been a real
Thank you,
pleasure,
man.
an honor and privilege.
Cheers, bro. Thanks for
Cheers.
coming back. I'm so glad you could be the first episode with the new, the return.
So cool. Can't wait for the next one, man.
Yeah, man.
Can't wait to see
man.
you.
Dude, you have no idea how stoked I am to just have one done and to be back doing this. Because it's like, fuck, how many of these do we do? A lot. And I did, personally, all of them. And it was about 60-something. So, I don't know. It's fun to get back into the groove of it. And I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it because it's all about you, baby. That's why I make this sacrifice of sitting around, drinking, talking about Star Wars movies in general. Cheers again.
Cheers. See you
and
soon.
Cheers to you, listener. Bye. Next time, whenever goddamn week.
Every goddamn week. Every goddamn week.